Come on. There we go. That's what I needed. Alright. We are live. I need to change that. And we're going to start the countdown. 3, 2, 1. Welcome everyone to Geekvice episode 152, proving any vice with enough geek can become a virtue. I'm Morph, that man's Kip. Good evening, Kip.
Good evening.
You are back from a week-long vacation, seminar, conference, whatever you want to call it, in Vegas. We will hear all about that here in just a few minutes. We got to get a few things off the top. I want a big shout out to Joshua Howe for coming on last week and replacing Kip for an episode. He was
Nobody replaced Kip.
well, Josh tried. He at least tried. He filled about half of you in there, so it was okay.
Well, it's because I'm twice anybody else's size.
But no, Josh was great. He was a great trooper. Had a lot of fun with him. So if you haven't checked out the last episode, episode 151, go do that. We talked about some TV shows a lot, kind of our ideas on TV shows, and then boom, sure enough, news came out from Marvel. We talked about the fact that Inhumans was not going to be made into a movie, and then boom, they announced it's going to be a TV show. So we will. We'll see what happens. So go
Mark
listen.
was monitoring this podcast, and
Yeah, exactly. Go check out my guesses on what I thought they were doing with Agents of Shield, and let's see if that comes true. So, the other thing we need to throw out there is, if you're listening to us this week when it comes out, you're listening to us. So it's going to come out the day before Thanksgiving. If you're listening to us in the future, then you're probably going to have a hard time going back and checking this out. But the Podcast Arcade is running a 24-hour charity event on Black Friday. They are starting, I believe, midnight on Black Friday morning, 12:01 Black Friday morning, and running all day until 12 o'clock Saturday morning. So go check them out. Make sure the easiest way to follow what they're going to be doing is to check out the event page or the event on the Podcast Arcade's Facebook page. That's facebook.com/the Podcast Arcade. The Podcast Arcade. Make sure you check that out. That's got all the information on it. If you're in the Omaha area, you can actually go see them. They are broadcasting from is it Scooters?
It's a Scooters.
It's a little coffee shop. So
Yes.
You can go show up, go say hi to those guys, drop them some cash. They are helping out a local charity up there in Omaha, and it's a good event. Unfortunately, Geekvice will not be part of that, mainly because of scheduling. Kip is going to be off in the middle of nowhere, and I'm going to be in Branson. So,
And that's pretty much the middle of nowhere.
yeah, I mean, I'm just going to be around a whole lot of old people. So, but we will not be. We aren't. We weren't able to work that into our schedules. We had already had these trips booked, and so we couldn't change our plans, but we still want to give a big shout out to the Podcast Arcade folks and go support them, help them out here, raise some money for a good cause, and all that jazz.
Yeah, we talk about it like they're separate from us. We're part of that too.
We are part of that.
We're just not doing the telecast for 24 hours, which I feel pretty bad about. But like you said, scheduling kind of got in the way this time, and They may actually raise more money without us being there than they would with us. Who knows?
Yeah, who
But
knows?
check them out. Donate.
Yeah, and
Heckle Eddie every chance you get. That would be good.
exactly. Why wouldn't you want to heckle Eddie? The other thing I should give a shout out for, which I don't have, actually I do remember the date. December 2nd. It is a Friday. If you are in the Omaha area or you decide you want to go up to Omaha for the late showing at Alamo Draft House, um, our our fearless podfather and the Daydream Instruction Manual will be hosting the event, hosting an event there to watch Transformers the movie, the original, the classic, the one, the only. And I know Eddie is super stoked for to do that because he is a huge Transformer fan, much like myself. You can go check out some of our, I don't even know what number it is, an older episode where we actually did a crossover with, I think it might have still been the Doug and Eddie show at that time, where Eddie and I just sat down for, I think it was almost 2 hours of just talking Transformers. So, um,
So
it
you
was,
might be a fan, is what you're saying.
yeah, we kind of enjoyed that. So,
So
yeah,
this first Transformers movie, is it animated?
yes, it is. Yes, it is. With voiceovers from amazing people like Casey Kasem and Orson Welles and uh, Peter Weller and some other
Dang.
people. So there's actually if you if you listen to any sort of cartoons, if you listen to any cartoons from the 80s, even early 90s, you will recognize these voices. And if you go and just look at the IMDb for it, it's ridiculous. There are tons of people that are in this movie just as voice actors, and this was before voice acting was cool, like it is now, where you get, Tom Hanks to voice act. So, um, it's a really good movie. It's a great movie. I think it even stands up now. The graphics might not be as good, but they've been updating them slowly. I don't think it's out on Blu-ray yet, but when it does, I will. Heck, I'll probably skip Blu-ray and go to 4K. Boom,
Oh yeah,
3D.
that just happened.
Yeah, I just love that movie. I love Transformers. So yeah, that's December 2nd, and you can find out more information. Follow Daydream Instruction Manual; they will have more information on that.
Because
So
they do the thing.
they do it. They do it, man, and it's a cool thing. I wish there's times where I wish I lived in Omaha, and I honestly thought I think we've got something going on like the third and like the morning of the third, and it's like, well, shit, I probably can't drive up there Friday night, go see this movie, and there's no way in hell I'll be able to drive back. So I don't know that I'll be able to drive up there for it, but it crossed my mind at least. So
I do have to make a work trip to Omaha soon, but I just don't think it's going to be that soon.
I mean that's like 2 weeks from Friday, so it's not that far away.
Well, I just spent a week in Vegas, and then I get to go spend some time in Colorado. After being back in town for 3 whole days. So when I get back from Thanksgiving, I think it would be good to stay in town for at least a week before I go back out and do something else.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. So speaking of Vegas, how was your week-long trip to Vegas, man?
My week-long trip to Vegas was very good. Man, it's exhausting. Vegas is an exhausting city. Have you
Yeah.
ever been?
I've been once.
All right. Well, I was born there, but you know, we moved when I was in fourth grade, so Sin City meant nothing to me at that time. But going back as a supposed adult, um, yeah, I just try to hang with the youngsters is not the easiest thing, but it was good. I mean, yeah, I wear the Fitbit So I like keeping track of my steps.
You were probably through the roof.
Probably averaged, I don't know, 16, 17,000 steps a day at the
Phew.
conference. That's the thing about Vegas. If you've never gone and or if you have gone and you've never stayed on the strip, stay in one of the resorts on the strip and you'll see what I mean. And that is everything you do is a long ass walk.
Yeah.
Just say, well, we're going to go down to the closest restaurant from our hotel room and get something to eat. Yeah, that's still like a 5-10 minute walk. I mean, can you go down the elevator? It's a long ass walk. Everything you want to do takes you through the casino.
Yep.
You come in the front door, you check into your room. To get to the elevator, you got to walk through the casino. You get to your room, you go downstairs, think I'm going to go get something to eat. You have to walk through the casino. So nothing is just right there.
You know they do that on purpose, right?
I do know this, yes.
Okay.
But we got there on Sunday night. Monday was kind of a pre-conference day. We'll say. You had to have a special badge to go to the things on Monday. So we had those. So we showed up on Sunday to get all prepared. First thing, I don't know why they do this in Vegas, but this is the second time this has happened to me. And it's kind of weird. And that is, my plane landed at 4 o'clock. I got on the shuttle bus that takes you to the hotel and sat in traffic for 2 hours because there was a damn marathon that started at 4 o'clock. Why do you start a marathon at 4 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yeah, no kidding.
So my illustrious coworkers, being the good souls that they are, didn't wait for me to go get dinner. So I stayed for 2 hours. I got to my room. I unpacked. I am one of those weirdos that takes everything out of a suitcase, hangs them in the closet, puts them in the drawer. Yeah, I'm that guy. I got all that done. Sent him a text message saying, "Okay, where are you guys at?" "Oh, we just finished dinner." He's like, "You mothers! I'm hungry. You could have waited, but no." So I went down and registered, got my badge. By this time, I'm starving. I'm pissed. I walk around and I find this Italian restaurant owned by Mario Batali. It's like, I just don't give a shit. I'm eating here. So I sit down. It was one of these restaurants where they have the window, not really windows, but openings that are covered by shutters, and they open the shutters when they're open, and you can just watch people walk by.
Okay.
It's inside the resort, so everybody walking by is going from the Venetian to the Palazzo or vice versa. So I just sitting there, getting ready to enjoy some fine dining, which is, not my style, but what the hell, don't care. And then they text me, ask me where I am. I told them. They said, "Well, we'll join you and we'll have some drinks while you eat." It's like, all right, that works. So one dinner and 2 glasses of wine and 1 beer for those guys. My dinner, and I had 2 dirty martinis. $150.
Holy crap, man.
Yeah. So I know how to pick restaurants, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was, I just got a plate of gnocchi, and it was, well, the menu had no prices on it, so that pretty much tells you that it was probably too expensive.
Yeah.
But it was the closest thing from where you get your badge for the conference to getting back to my hotel room, so that's where I stopped.
Oh, man.
And it just did not get any better from there price-wise. So we got done with that, and we're like, well, we can't stay here, but we're not done. So we found a bar called Aquanox, I think. And it's like the name of it was like Aquanox, and then underneath their tagline was a global water cuisine. and you're like, what the fuck is that? But basically, I think it means seafood. But we didn't care. It had a bar. We could people watch. So we ordered a bunch of alcohol and was having a good time, feeling no pain. And we're just having a general conversation. We're right on the outside rail. So restaurant, our table, a rail, and then the general population, the unwashed masses, if you will. And we're talking, and one of the guys just happened to say the word Trump. And all of a sudden, this guy just appeared.
Oh,
We
shit.
we didn't see him walk up. We don't know where the hell he came from. It's like he just materialized right there and just started talking to us. It's like, all right. So we started talking to him. And this is the first time I've witnessed racial profiling in my life. And it was kind of sad. We're talking to the guy. We're not having any problem with him, but he's drunk. We're drunk. It didn't matter. And security came over and asked us if we knew the guy, and we're like, no, but he's fine. No big deal. And they pulled him out away from the restaurant out into the middle of the walkway and started questioning him. And then one of the security guards came over to us and said that somebody called them, said there was a drunk guy outside the bar, and he was out of control. It's like, no, he was just talking to us. He's totally fine. And they're like, but do you know who he is? It's like, no, we have no idea who he is, but he's fine. He's just talking.
He's not hurting anything. Leave him alone.
I think his only crime was he was black, to be honest. So he went over and talked, the guy who appeared out of nowhere went over and talked to the manager of the bar, and then came back and talked to us, and the security guards finally left. And we had probably another 10, 15-minute conversation with him, and he left. No harm, no foul, but for some reason, it was a big deal. And I understand it. You don't want drunk people,
You don't want them badgering, customers and things like
They're
that.
customers. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But they came over, asked us, if we knew the guy and if he was causing any problems, and we said, we just met him, and he's fine. That should have been enough, but it wasn't. And they just, they were kind of all over the guy. I felt really bad. But, so that was really the only damper on it, other than my coworkers not waiting to have dinner until I got to the hotel. But that's pretty small in comparison to being racially profiled. So
Yeah, no kidding.
So that was something,
And that was just the beginning of your trip.
Yeah, that was just Sunday night.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I still had 6 more days to go. So, things happen in Vegas that you say, I've never seen this before. That was that one for me. Never really been part of that. So, a little bit of an eye opener for Whitey McWhiterson from Midwest USA, but that's what it was. And we were trying to find a good place to just watch the football game, and that's why we ended up where we were. So the next day, get up. I'm way too hungover. This is like, that's a bad start to a conference. So we go and say, okay, we're gonna go find a Denny's. So we go to the concierge and ask, where's Denny's? And she's like, well, if you just go a little bit further for the same price point, you could eat at a better place. It's like, all right, what is this? And it's Hash House a Go-Go.
Ooh, I've been there.
Yeah.
Not in Vegas. They used to have one up at the Legends.
Yes.
Here in Kansas City. So
Yeah. And she said, they serve pancakes the size of your head. And it's like, I got a pretty big head, so that better be a pretty good sized pancake. But she assured me it was, so we went to Hash House and had some hangover food. Went to Walgreens, bought a bunch of Gatorade and some ibuprofen because definitely needed that. And then went to the shindig that we were supposed to, got done, too full from lunch, too hungover to do anything else. I just went back to my room and took a nap. Woke up, felt great, was able to go to the afternoon stuff unencumbered by a headache. So that was good. And then the rest of it was fine. And, we sat in classes Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday pretty much all day. But at night, there was things to do. The cool things to do, it was like video game heaven there for some reason that week. So the first place that we went to that had kind of the video game thing is we got invited to this private party. And it was at a place called the Rock House, which is in the Venetian. And they had the video game tables that you sit at. It has the video game.
Uh-huh.
And it had all like the old 80s and early 90s standards like Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, 1942, stuff like this.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to put any quarters in. They were just unlocked and we could play. So we must have played Miss Pac-Man for like 3 solid hours.
That's awesome.
So I was like, that's pretty cool. We got to play a bunch of video games and I did not drink much. I think I had like 2 beers the whole night. Kind of learned my lesson from Sunday night. But I got to watch the drunk. So this is a CAD, engineering CAD software conference. So a lot of engineering types there. So it's kind of funny to watch engineering types go out and drink and socialize. That's kind of entertaining on its own.
Yeah.
Right across from where we were playing video game, there was these 3 nerdy looking guys. So actually 4 nerdy looking guys, pretty drunk. And I think she was either a coworker or a pay by the hour girl. I'm not sure which one she was. But she was wearing a real short skirt, high heels, just dancing very provocatively around these guys, acting like she knew who they were. And the whole time I'm thinking, all 4 of these guys think they're getting a piece of that. And all 4 of these guys are going to be very disappointed when the evening ends. But before that wound down, it's like, you know what, it's late. I got to go. So I didn't get to see what ended up happening for them. But her dancing around was a good show, so I didn't mind that. And then Wednesday night, my wife flies in. We don't have a badge for her, and there was a big party put on by Autodesk, who runs the deal, and it's at this casino called the Link. So we walk over to the Link and we get there, and they're checking badges. It's like, oh man, because we were hoping just to sneak her in.
Right. And
so we get up there. And they gave you the wristbands to show that you're part of the group, so you can get all the free alcohol you want.
Right.
And put one on her, put one on me. We get through, we're thinking home free. And we get up there, and the guy's like, "You got your credentials?" It's like, shit. So I show him mine, and he looks at her and goes, "Do you have your credentials?" And before she could say, "No, I don't have any," I said, "No, she left it back at the room. Do we have to walk all the way back to the room to get that?" He's like, "Well, do you have because it comes with you can log on to the thing on your phone with an app."
Yeah.
He's like, "Can you just launch the app?" And she's like, "I locked my cell phone in the room safe because I didn't want to carry it around." And he looked at us and goes, "Fine, just go in."
Well played. Well played, sir.
I guess we were just annoying enough that he'll let us in. And that was cool because the Link has this area called the Promenade. Mm-hmm. And they had it all barriered off, so it was just for us. So all the bars and everything that's on the Promenade, we could just go and drink and just, eat and do all this stuff. The Link has the great big Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
At the top of it, you're 550 feet in the air. And that's normally, somebody told me it was like normally $80 a person. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't looked it up. But if it was, we got a bargain because it was free for us being part of the deal.
Oh, that's cool.
So I got to go on that and go up there and see the strip from 550 feet in the air, which was pretty cool. And then in that same room where you get on the thing, there's like a bar with all this food, and then there's another room with all these video games. And they had a Pac-Man set up with 4 stations so you could play Pac-Man against each other at the same time. So your Pac-Man could fight and you could like push them into the ghosts and stuff like this. So that
Oh
was
yeah.
that was pretty good. And then they had like giant Connect Fours that you could play, and there was just all sorts of cool stuff. They had this bowling alley with a live band playing, and I think the band's name was the Spasmatics or something like that. And they were all dressed like Revenge of the Nerds kind of a deal.
Oh, that's cool.
They were awesome. They were a lot of fun, and yeah, it was just a good time. Again, didn't drink too much because Sunday was still fresh in my mind. So that was probably all the work-related activities at that point were pretty much over. So the next day was just the last day of classes, and then everybody went their own way. The wife was in town, so Friday we decided to do Vegas non-touristy style. So
Right.
we got off the strip and we went to things that people who go to Vegas don't really go and visit, like the Museum of Natural History and things like that. So it was just a good time, but man, the walking. Holy cow. The walking. But the people watching is extraordinary. If you do anything in Vegas, grab a beer or your favorite cocktail and sit somewhere where you can watch people walk by. You will see every possible walk of life there is. They'll walk right by you. It's amazing. One of the cool things, well, yeah, I guess we could say it's a cool thing. I wasn't doing it. It was only one person in our group that was, but it was hilarious. At the bowling alley place, they had escalators going up and down.
Oh yes.
Uh,
I believe I saw this video from a
one
good
of the
friend of ours.
would go up and down the escalator and like touch people's hands and make eye contact with them as they went by,
Yeah.
going the other way.
So what the hell was he wearing on his head when he was doing it though? Because it was like he was wearing like flashing. I couldn't tell if they were
They were glasses that the rims had all these lights in them that flashed.
okay.
He just put them up on his head. Um, he's a nutball anyway. I'd laugh so hard my sides hurt by the time we were done with that. But he would touch people's hands and just make eye contact with them all the way down like he was flirting with them. Oh my God, I just about died. It was great. Uh, the people that he did that to were caught completely off guard at first, and then after a while they were all like onto what he was doing. And I think
Right.
some of them were getting back on the escalator just to have it done to him again. So
That's funny. That is funny.
a good
Yeah.
time. And we flew back on Saturday, and today I think I probably slept way too much because Vegas just wears you out. I think I took 2 naps today.
I can understand that. Yeah, they.
It was a good time. I highly recommend if you're got any kind of conference that ends up going to Vegas. I highly recommend doing it because they roll out the red carpet. If your conference is willing to pay for it,
Yeah.
whew, the entertainment value alone is worth it. But then all the beer and the video games and the Ferris wheel was awesome. Oh yeah, one more thing. One more thing that was kind of a downside. So Monday night, we're like, well, let's go find a bar outside of our hotel. Let's get out and get some fresh air, find a bar, watch Monday Night Football. You think Vegas, that's going to be easy to do, right?
Yeah.
No, it was not easy to do.
Really.
We ended up going to a Tilted Kilt, which, if anybody's been there,
Sounds like a Scottish bar.
it's no.
Oh.
Think of Hooters girls wearing skirts,
Oh, okay.
tilted kilt.
All right.
Um, how these places stay open, I do not know. Because you know what, I like looking at beautiful women that are wearing hardly anything just as much as the next guy. But when they act like they're angry at everybody and you get shit service, it's gone. You know,
Right.
the allure is gone. And we went in there. We had chips and salsa, and I think each one of us got one drink, and we're finally fuck this place. We're out of here. Just not friendly atmosphere at all. It just kind of sucked. It's like if we come back next year and this place is still here, I'll be surprised because this was not a fun atmosphere. And it's Vegas, you know. You can go and see more for less, to be honest. And you know, people drink and they tip well, and you expect the wait staff to at least be appreciative or at least act like they.
Right.
But no, they
Just
sucked.
just
And
give the appearance that you want to be there.
yeah, pretend I don't
Yeah.
care. But yeah, that was probably the only time we really got poor service was that angry 4 foot tall girl that waited on us there. Seriously, I think we sat at a high table,
Yeah.
you know, high bar table like you'd see anywhere. I
Right.
think it hit her about neck height.
Oh, jeez.
I'm not kidding. She was a tiny little thing, angry little thing though. Holy shit! So you know, we ordered drinks and then didn't see her for a very long time, and then finally our drink showed up. And then ordered chips and salsa. Didn't see her for a very long. Finally, those showed up. And then it was like, let's get the hell out of here. We need the check. Couldn't find her anywhere. It just took forever.
Right.
Like she needs to learn what customer service is. I'm sure being in a place like that, dressed like that, you have to put up with a lot of assholes.
But
But
you would think if you worked in a place like that, and yes, you had to put up with a lot of assholes. When you ran into a group that wasn't a bunch of assholes, you would spit. You would like over the top be like around them because they aren't oogling you or harassing you or being assholes. And I know the group of guys you were with, and I can't see any of them being that big of assholes.
no, we were pretty much tired. We were just looking for a place where we could sit, have a beer, watch a football game.
Yeah.
We were on our best behavior. We haven't even got wound up at this point yet. That was the next couple of nights, but
Right.
yeah. So I don't know what the deal was. I'm sure everybody has a bad night, but
Just
the whole
yeah.
place just kind of felt like that. It was weird. So never going back to one of those. But so spent 6 days in Vegas, which is probably 3 days too long. But had a good time. Got a lot of steps in. Legs were tired every night. Holy cow! I just lay down in bed, and all you could feel is my legs just throbbing. But it was good. It was
Yeah.
good to be there, and the weather was that. That's what cracks me up. So I was at that same conference last year. My wife came out on Thursday, I think, last year, and the weather was beautiful till Thursday, and then it got cold when she showed up. This year, she came out on Wednesday of the conference, and it was upper 70s until she got there, and then the next day was 59.
she brought she brought the cold front with her, man.
She did, and when we were walking around the promenade, it was like a wind tunnel. The wind
Oh
just was
man.
blowing out of the north, going down this corridor. It was cold. It was very cold, and I was wearing my new podcast arcade hockey jersey, so I was warm. But she was not. So
Yeah,
we tried to stay indoors as much as possible. It was just
that's
kind of
just
funny.
funny.
Yeah. So
That's funny. And the next time I talk to her, I will definitely have to give her crap for that one. So
oh yeah, yeah. Every time I bring it up, she's not too happy with me. But hey, if I wasn't in the doghouse, I would think something was wrong.
exactly. Exactly. Well, I'm
So that
glad you had a really good week, man. I mean, that's awesome. We missed you here, but like we had mentioned before, we were lucky enough to have another member of the podcast arcade step up and help me out for the show, and that went really well. But so you had ups and downs. I had ups and downs as well. Um,
okay.
First up was last weekend. We decided we were going to go get our dishwasher had gone out, which I guess isn't an up. It's more of the down. But we're like, hey, we'll go get a new dishwasher, and we found some really good early Black Friday deals at Home Depot. So we decided our Christmas present this year, we're gonna get a new dishwasher, and then our Christmas present to my wife and I, we always just get something for the house or something for us. And she wanted a convection oven, and so I'm like, you know what? Let's do that. That's gonna be our Christmas gift, our adult gift this year. So we got ordered a convection oven that showed up on Monday, right out about a week ago, and it was damaged in shipping. So we had to reject it, and it was damaged. I mean, like the bottom of it is buckling. It is damaged so bad.
Damn.
Um, it looked like maybe they used a forklift on it and tried to lift it without the pallet underneath it and bent the crap out of it. Um, so obviously we rejected it. Well, now we're not getting now our oven is not coming until a week from yesterday. So we won't get it until after Thanksgiving. And we're supposed to be making a bunch of pies and stuff for Thanksgiving.
Of
So
course.
we're going to have to borrow a neighbor's oven so we can finish those. But the frustration of dealing with customer service this week, my wife's the one who ordered all this stuff because I was stuck at work, and so she ordered it over lunch one day. Went out to Home Depot, got everything taken care of, got it all ordered, so it's all under her name. So if I call, they just look at me like, "Well, you're not the one who ordered it, so your name's not on the list. You can't actually complain about this. I can't do anything to change it." So she has to deal with customer service, and they have been utter asses with just the whole thing, just giving her the runaround, not getting stuff scheduled when it was supposed to be scheduled. It was supposed to be scheduled within 24 to 48 hours of when the damage, basically the day of install, which was a week ago. It didn't happen then. It didn't happen until Friday. And it took them an entire week to reschedule it. And then they said, oh, well, there's not enough room on the trucks. So the earliest we can get it to you is another week away. It's like, you guys are assholes. So, um, that kind of sucked, but it is coming eventually. Hopefully, we're hoping, we have our fingers crossed because they're supposed to call us on Friday and let us know what time they're going to be here. And we're supposed to be coming back into town on Saturday, so we're hoping that it's in the afternoon and not the morning so that we don't have to reschedule it again. So we'll just have to see what happens there. But the other downs thing this week just happened today. So if you follow us on Facebook, if you follow the Geekvice Facebook page, you saw that today we had a family game night, basically, during the afternoon after the Chiefs game. It was too cold to really do anything outside. Kids were tired, adults were tired, so we were just sitting around the house. And Reese and I started playing Legendary. Played another game of Legendary, and I used the fancy app on my phone to randomize the schemes and heroes. And the scheme we played was brutal. It was what was it? What was it called? Superhero Civil War. And basically, instead of getting 5 heroes in your hero deck, you only use 4. And there are 8 scheme twists in the villain deck, and each time the scheme twist comes up, you have to KO all of the heroes in the HQ. So all the heroes you get to pick from which there's 5 of them there, you have to get rid of. So, and the way that you lose the game is if you run out of cards in your hero deck. We ran out of cards in the hero deck, and we'd only taken the mastermind down twice. You need to take them down 4 times to win. Um, we just we couldn't buy a break. The scheme twists were coming up too early. We lost some of the heavy hitters because they got wiped out of the HQ with the scheme twist. We were able to control the cityscape. We didn't have a lot of villains running loose, but we couldn't build up enough good cards to be able to take down the mastermind, and it was brutal. Reese was a little ticked that we lost, but
Did
we
he
kind
blame
of
you for it?
no, he didn't blame me, which was surprising because he usually kicks the crap out of me in that game anyway. But it was more just the bad luck with the cards, really. I mean, we just didn't. I guess it's the luck of the shuffle, really. Because
Yeah.
it's what the bad guys you have got two sets of villains. You've got henchman cards, you've got master strike cards, and you've got scheme twist cards, and then you have some bystander cards as well in this villain deck, all shuffled together. And it just happened to be that some of the scheme twists were near the top and not as many at the bottom, and we just couldn't survive that first onslaught. Um, Reese and I also have the same problem. We are similar problems where we try to build up our decks too much. Probably we spend too much time trying to recruiting more heroes and not purging out some of the crappy heroes out of our decks. So we got stuck a few times where you're like, I can't do anything because I don't have the right cards. That's frustrating, but again, just luck of the cards. It's just the way that the cards fall, and but it was still a lot of fun. But that's our first official loss in Legendary. So I had the game for uh, right at about a year now. Yeah, we're at about a year this Christmas, I think, and this is our first loss. So I say it's still pretty good, right?
I don't think that's too shabby. Plus, you don't want to win every game, or there's no point in playing.
Yeah, exactly. I think we found the right. I like their. We've. I think a lot of the times we run into where we're picking the cards and we end up picking the cards that are in our favor. Having the randomizer just tell us what cards need to go in there makes it a little bit harder, makes it more challenging, and in the end, it makes it more fun for me. I like the challenge of it. So Reese just doesn't like losing, so that's his thing. But yeah,
Well, it happens.
we've gone for quite a while here.
Yeah, I
One of the
talked way too much.
Oh, you're good, man. You're good. You had a week to cover, man. You've been gone for 2 weeks. You're good. I do want to throw out a couple of these trailers that are on here. First of all, did you, I know you're a big fan of Underworld and Kate Beckinsale, right?
Huge fan of Kate Beckinsale.
Did you know she had a new Underworld movie coming out?
Yeah, I did, and I was shocked. It's like, do we really need one of these? They could just,
Yes.
film her standing in this tight black spandex for an hour and a half, and I think people would show up. And maybe that's the idea of the movie. I'm not sure, but hey, what the heck? If it's any good, I'll watch. Well, if it's not any good, I'll probably end up watching it before I realize it's not any good. But
Yeah. Yeah,
hey, it is what it is.
I mean, it comes out early 2017. The release date's January 6th.
Which is
Um,
always a bad sign for a movie. If it comes out in January or February, usually means it's crap.
yeah, yeah. I don't hold high hopes for it, but I mean, I probably won't- well, who, why would anyone believe me if I say I'm gonna go see it in the theater? But
Exactly.
I will probably end up watching this movie at some point. But the movie that I really wanted to throw out there is Disney's new live action of Beauty and the Beast. So they're remaking this animated movie into a live action, which they've been doing a lot of recently. And there's two movies that they have animated that when they started doing these live action ones, I'm like, I don't know that you could really pull this off. And this was one of them. The other one's Little Mermaid. I don't think they can actually do that one in live action.
Now, maybe porn, but not live action.
Yeah, I mean that one's gonna be that would be really hard to pull off. Um, but this one they did a real. At least the trailer made this thing look really good.
Yes.
And I'm still curious on how they're gonna pull off some of the animation. As far as the servants and things in the Beast's castle that are transformed into, like Lumiere is the candle and Clogsworth is the clock. Are those going to look? Are they going to look cheesy and fake? Is it going to look like something that's more of a stage performance than a movie? Because there's a big difference to that, and so I'm still a little curious about it. But I will say, Emma Watson as Belle just was awesome. I mean,
That that works for you?
she played the part, man. She looked really good as Belle. I thought Luke Evans, the little bit they showed of him as Gaston, was adequate. I mean, he's not as buff as the Gaston in the animated one, but I think it's gonna sell really well. I think it's gonna look really good. The story, the songs, and everything that are in the original animated version, they're all gonna be in this. They are because they're just awesome music score in that. So I'm looking forward to this. It's supposed to come out in March. This is definitely one that I will probably end up taking the kids to go see because why not?
Yeah, I think because Emma Watson's in it, it's going to do pretty well. But it does look a lot better than I. If somebody said, "Hey, there's going to be a live action Beauty and the Beast," my first thought is the crappy TV show with was it Linda Hamilton and
Oh,
holy cow, I can't believe I forgot his name. See his
yeah.
face,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about because I
Ron
watched that
Perlman.
too.
Holy cow, jeez,
Oh, right. Yeah. And yeah, that was bad. That was
hated that show.
yeah.
I don't know.
That's one we should just forget about.
Yeah, it's kind of like there's only one uh, reason to watch Beauty and the Beast, and that was always the animated. Yeah,
Yeah.
forget the TV show ever existed. There was only the movie. But
Right.
I think this one's going to be, at least visually, looks really good, and the trailer makes it look good. So there's hope. There's hope for the future.
Yeah. Um. Well, and what would you think about Scarlett Johansson playing somebody other than Black Widow?
It looks. I've seen Ghost in the Shell anime,
Mm-hmm.
and this live action was like, holy cow, they nailed it from what I could tell. And
Yeah.
of course,
This.
Scarlett Johansson's always good anyway. So
Yeah. They.
good for me.
I think they nailed this thing. At least the trailer nailed it. Now, I mean, it could fall apart with when you actually see the movie, but I don't. I don't. I think they might have just. I think this might be too good to pass on. I think this is gonna be awesome. I really like Ghost in the Shell. It's it's a mind trip in and of itself.
Which the
Really,
trailer is a mind trip itself too. So
yeah. So I think this is gonna be really cool. If you haven't seen the trailer, this trailer just dropped within the last week or two. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Ghost in the Shell. It looks just awesome. This live action looks really cool.
it
And
does.
the last one that I want to throw out there is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's all we have to say right there. That looks like a ton of fun. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, just the the part between Chris Pratt and Batista, right? That's who plays
Yeah,
Drax,
Dave
Batista.
Batista. Yeah,
So just
you
that
need a
little
woman
interaction.
like you.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Do you need a hug? No, no, I really don't. Oh, thanks. I thought I said I didn't need a hug. Yeah, I mean, that part was just great. And if it looks like they're building not just a storyline building upon the last movie, but just they're keeping that comedic flow, that lighthearted nature of it. They're keeping that
Yeah,
going, which I think is perfect and exactly what they need to be doing. So
I totally agree with you, and it does. It just looks like you said, like a continuation. Like nothing. Like they never stopped filming, really,
yeah,
and which I appreciate because how many times have you seen the first movie and like can't wait for the second one? The second one comes out, you're like, what the hell did they do?
yeah.
So
Did they really forget everything that made the first one that
yeah,
good? Yeah.
so I'm pretty pumped about that, and that's what May or June.
That's May.
May, that's right.
I believe it's May 5th.
Something like that. Yeah, it's something to look forward to. That's for dang sure.
Yeah.
Though
Yeah,
I don't
cuz
wish my year away, but I can't wait to see that.
yeah, it comes in this will Guardians of the Galaxy's May and Wonder Woman's June. So,
And Logan is March.
March.
Yeah, so we got some superhero action going on. That's which is cool.
Yeah, there's got to be something in April. I don't know what's in April. I mean, if we got Logan in March, you need something in April. You got Guardians of the Galaxy in
You know what I
May.
think is in April?
What's in April?
The new Fast and Furious movie.
Oh shit. That doesn't count. Kip, that doesn't count.
Well, isn't Vin Diesel a superhero? I'm unclear on his status.
Uh, he's at least a geek. I gotta like him for that. I mean, the
Yeah,
guy
he does
plays D&D,
D&D.
so
Yeah.
you gotta give him credit for that. So, all right, we gotta put an end there before we keep going on for way too long. Any last thoughts there, Kip?
Oh, I hate to say, but I'm actually looking forward to going back to work tomorrow.
Oh shit. Okay, now we really have to end it. Don't no
That's
people
how
don't listen
tired
to
I
him.
am. That is how
Don't listen
tired.
to him. No, no, that can't be said. All right, guys, check out our blog at geekvice.blogspot.com. You can also make sure you go like our Facebook page at facebook.com/geekvice. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way, you get notifications when these recordings go live, and you can also you will get first dibs of our of each podcast if you follow the YouTube channel because it always goes first on YouTube. You can get there by tiny.cc/geekvice or search for Kip Morph. You can follow us on Twitter. You could follow that man over there at Kip Killigan. You can follow me at Geekvice. And of course, as always, you can email us at geekvice@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts, your concerns, your questions. If you want us to change something up, if you want us to cover a certain topic, let us know at the email address geekvice@gmail.com. Thanks everybody for listening to our ramblings, and we will see you next week.
Later.
This podcast is part of the Podcast Arcade Network.